Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. Okay, we are done with step number 6. Now what is next step? What is next step? Special recollection of the kindness of others. Okay, so here now the point is that for the infinite happiness means that there should be no room for unhappiness. Infinite happiness means there should be no room for unhappiness. That any factor, that there should be no factor which is successful in triggering unhappiness in us. Right? Infinite happiness means that no matter what factor you meet, you should have happiness. Unless that happens, it is not infinite happiness. So the factors, no factor should be there to disturb your happiness. Okay, what potential factors could they be? Now, let's say the three kinds of people. Three kinds of people are the very near and dear ones, or the neutral people, and you're the so-called enemies, the difficult people. So we see that the tendency for us is that when we meet with somebody who's very kind, compassionate, we're very happy. And the neutral, okay, fine. But the difficult people, we can't bear it, right? We can't bear it. So we see that with the difficult people, you don't feel close. You don't feel close to the difficult people. Okay, but if that is not happening, then you're not having the infinite happiness. You're not having the infinite happiness. The moment you meet with the difficult people, then the happiness is not there. Happiness is disrupted. So now the point is that we have to look for the ideal situation. Whether it's possible, not possible, this is a different question. Right? So first of all, what we need to understand is that okay, let us all recall a situation in your life where you feel the happiest moment in your life. Just share your thoughts. Happiest moment, genuinely happy, right? Genuinely happy moment. Okay, anyone who likes to share thoughts?
When I got married.
Okay. But is that genuine or not genuine? Genuine happiness? Are you sure competition is not there?
After 30
later
years.
on, yeah. Competition came because so there you didn't know what the complications going to be like. Right? So
She did not tell me.
Exactly. What I'm saying is genuine happiness, right? Not the deceptive happiness. Genuine happiness. Okay, anyone who has to share? Sumit?
Yeah, when my son was born.
Okay, when his son was born.
When my son was awarded, he was felicitated in his college in 11th standard. So I'm coming first, second amongst around 1200 students in science, that was genuinely
Happy.
about it. Because
Okay.
it was always-
The son was born, the son was felicitated for being the second topper and amongst the 1200 science students. Any more experience?
My first job,
Okay, the moment said about the first job, where?
I was posted in West Bengal.
West Bengal, yes. Okay, so before that you were coming to Tibet, right?
Yes, yes. After
Okay.
that, I was studying in Delhi.
Yeah, I remember that. Suddenly, Sidman disappeared. Disappeared, and then suddenly I received an email. Said then, right? Then I just conjectured, guessed that, oh, this must be the girl who disappeared suddenly. Okay, the first job. Anyone else? Yes.
When retreat happens here.
Okay, when the retreat happens here. Very good, very good. Okay. Yes, Richa?
So, what? No.
Happy hours.
Happy hours. So, I was once teaching underprivileged kids for training them for jobs and all. So there were 12 pass dropouts and not 12 pass, 12 dropout 10th. So when they came back to tell me that they'd gotten jobs at some BPO and all, so that was really, it gave me a lot of happiness that now they'll be able to lead a meaningful life.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, anyone else? Okay, so the okay, I personally would say that the one moment which is the happiest moment, I already shared that with you, right? When I had no responsibility. When was that? Somebody else is there taking care of everything, including my food, clothes, everything. When was that? When I was a very young child, right? This is what we tend to forget. We tend to forget it. Right? When we're young, when we are so vulnerable, when we are so dependent on others, particularly your parents. Your parents, for example, what Sumit said, that the first day my son was born. This is the amount of love that we received. Right? When, say, the father is taking pride in the child, people will be jealous. The Vipinji, what is your son's name?
Ganesh.
Huh? Tanesh. People will be jealous of Tanesh's success, but there's somebody who's taking pride in the success. You getting it? This is the kind of love that we have received from our parents. Yet, we tend to take for granted this love and affection that we received. Right? So, in fact, this is one we really need to work on. The second method, the method of the first method, the sevenfold cosmic method, that is primarily for that purpose. To remember, to go back in time of how much love that we have received. For example, let's say the Sumaji is speaking as the father of the child. Likewise, Vipinji is saying the same thing. But just as you felt it that to your child, you as a child must have felt the same thing. Right? Your parents must have felt the same thing towards you. Right? Last year or 2 years ago, there was once the same retreat happened in Vana, Dehradun, Vana Healing Center. So there I asked the same question. And there was one gentleman, I think he must be in his late 30s or early 40s. He said something very interesting. I asked, what's the happiest moment that you felt in your life? And he said that first time he touched his daughter's hand when she was one day old. She said, in what way you felt happy? He said that it was very moving experience. The child was just newly born. Right? And he touched her hand. That gave him such a joy, very pure joy. This is the amount of the love 90% of the people experienced. Their parents felt with you, with each one of us. They feel the pride, they feel the joy over you being born. And yet we don't remember. You getting it? Okay. So in my case, I would say one moment, there are many moments, one moment that I remember so vividly is that on this boulder, my mother sitting, then hugging the three children, and then singing the song. I remember that so vividly. So they had no responsibility, right? Everything's taken care of by her, right? My job is to eat and sleep and she takes care of everything. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so I'll say once in England, we were going from me, my friend, and his wife. We were going from Oxford to London. And the young son, who may be aged like 6 or 7, and he was to be left with his grandparents. And the son, of course, loved the mother so much, and the son could see the prospect of the two parents leaving him with the grandparents. Then, the moment he discovered that he felt it, he started to scream. Why? Because he could not bear the pain of the separation from the mother. You getting it? Okay, so tell me, this child, it's not only this child, we all, almost like minimum 80%, 89% of the people felt it this way when we were young, age 4, 5, 6, when we were so vulnerable, right? And if there's a prospect of seeing your mother or father leaving you with your grandparents, and then your parents are going for some work, job, for about 2 months, 1 month like this, then the pain the child goes through is just so acute. So tell me, so imagine you are that child, and you, when you are day one you are born on this earth, do you feel the same connection, same big closeness with your parents? Day one you were born on this earth, do you feel the same connection with your parents? No idea. No idea who your mother, who your father, no idea, right? Day one. But then over these 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you build this intense feeling of closeness. Intense feeling of closeness. How come that this young child is able to build that intense feeling of closeness with the parents? How come? What makes this child feel that intense feeling of closeness with the parents? Tell me.
Continuous love and affection.
Exactly. The child has been so vulnerable, right? Particularly the child before reaching 10 years, 11 years, before that, when the child is so vulnerable, right? And then seeing that these two, the father and mother, these are the two who give me all the benefit that I want, right? So the child, they don't know the sophisticated love and affection. Even the parents, they plan for you to become PhD and so forth. The child has no clue. You getting it? Whereas only if, say, when you need food, the mother comes with the food, right? You're feeling cold, and they clothes are put on, and then you cry, and then the outsiders just shut up, and your mother will say that, no, don't worry, right? So this is what you've been getting from your two parents. So there, you see that the child knows that these are the two people from whom I get the maximum benefit. So when you feel that you're getting the benefit, your mind automatically flows towards that source. This is known as feeling of closeness. Your mind becomes close to the source of the benefit. This is meaning of the closeness. Feeling of closeness is known as feeling of love. Right? Your mind literally go closer towards the source. That is known as I feel close to him. I feel close to her. Right? That's feeling of love. So the mechanism of love and affection, is that when you feel the benefit, then the love and affection operates. This is how the love and affection works. Once we know this, our job is to feel the love and affection towards all beings. Yes? Towards your near and dear ones, neutral beings, and the enemies. This is our job. This is a job. You're getting it? To feel the love and affection towards all beings. So now what we have learned thus far is that to feel how does the love and affection be felt is that when you feel the benefit, you getting it? When you feel the benefit from the other object, then your mind flows towards there. That is known as the mind feeling close. Mind feeling close and love, these two are synonymous. Do you agree with me? Yeah. Okay, so if knowing this mechanism, okay, tell me, before we go any further, how does the love and affection develop? When you see the benefit. When you see the benefit from that particular object, whatever object, from there you see the benefit, then your mind flows towards that object. Your mind flows towards that object. Flowing your mind closer towards that object is known as feeling close. Feeling close is known as feeling of love and affection. You agree with me? Okay, so this we should not forget. Finally, how the love and affection is generated, how that is cultivated, how that is generated, how that comes into play is when you feel benefit from the particular object. Whatever object, from there you feel the benefit, your mind flows towards that. That is known as the feeling of closeness and the feeling of love and affection. Okay, some people say, I love flowers. Right? Because the moment you see the flower, it gives a very pleasant feeling in you. So this is the benefit that you get from seeing the flower, from seeing a born person. Right? This benefit, pleasant feeling comes. When pleasant feeling is the benefit. For example, you feel cold, the mother gives you cold, and then you get a pleasant feeling. Right? When you're hungry, and then mother gives you food, right? And your hunger goes away, you feel pleasant. This is benefit. So we see that the feeling of closeness, feeling of love and affection is nothing but the state of mind which flows towards the object which you see as a benefit, source of benefit. That's feeling of love and affection. If you know this mechanism, now it's very easy to cultivate love and affection towards all beings. What do you mean by all beings? Near and dear ones, neutral beings, and the difficult people, or the enemies, difficult people, right? Okay, so how can we feel, how can we cultivate, how can we generate, how can we cultivate feeling of love and affection towards near and dear ones? Near and dear ones is easy, right? That is easy. The neutral people, so difficult people, no way. No way.
It's difficult to even go near them.
Difficult to even go near them, let alone feeling close. Right? Even to go near them, no way. Right? Okay, but this is the tone. No way. Right? Okay. Now the point is that, what is the point that we are studying now? Nita? What's the point we are studying? Special recollection. This label is known as special. Special recollection of the kindness, right? Not just ordinary kindness, special collection of special kindness. You're going to recollect, you're going to remember a special kindness, right? Okay, what do you mean by special? Special as opposed to what? Special as opposed to the kindness which the ordinary people feel, right? Okay, ordinary people feel kindness from which of the three categories? The near and dear one. So this is not special. This is, we always take for granted, right? So this is what even the ordinary people can feel, the kindness, and then your mind flows, right? Your mind flows. Okay, good. So even say, for example, here, Bodhichitta Center, we meet, many of us must be meeting first time, right? First time, and then you understand the thinking of the other person, very compassionate, very loving, very learned, and very sensible, and you appreciate, appreciation. These things happen, right? Okay, so seeing something good in the others, where the conventional people would see, say, the mother, father, your teachers, your friends, brothers, sisters, who give you benefit, how the conventional people consider that as benefit. So that's fine, that's not special, that's obvious. Okay. Now then, what is difficult is the neutral people and the difficult people to cultivate love and affection towards them. So first we move towards the neutral people. For the neutral people, how can I feel love and affection towards the neutral people? Okay, so this is known as what ordinary people cannot imagine, that you can feel love and affection towards the neutral people. So if you can cultivate love and affection there, then it becomes very special. Because this is not what ordinary people can do. It becomes special. And even more special would be with the difficult people. With the difficult people. This is something ordinary people cannot really digest. Right? You are crazy. Right? This is your enemy. How come that you're feeling love and affection towards that person? He's crazy. Okay, this is how the ordinary people class it. So therefore, if you can cultivate love and affection towards these two categories, that becomes special. Right? Okay. So on first the neutral people. Okay, let's say the food that we get. Okay, the food that we get. For example, lunch. What do we have for lunch?
Sindhi dal.
Sindhi dal,
Sindhi curry.
aloo gobi,
Cauliflower.
or cauliflower. Right?
There's no aloo inside.
Only gobi.
I tasted some.
Only flour.
I think there's a little bit of aloo is there.
Guruji got to.
It wasn't there.
No, okay. Okay, that she's very deep. She knows it so well. Yeah. Okay. So let's say the lunch that we had. So this lunch came from the Pritiji, right? The Pritiji cooked it, and then the ingredients came from, and they are helpers also, right? Helpers are there, and the ingredients came from Virtual Dhatu Center or from the market? From the market. There must be somebody there selling the market, selling the ingredients. And how they came into the shops? The farmers. And the farmers, they are waiting there just to plant something for Vajradadu. Right? Right? So they have to survive. Right? For them, again, they have to eat something. So we see that just one plate of meal that we have is connected with so many hands. And this food, they come from the basic ingredients from the various farms, come to the factories, go to the factory, through the road. There must be people who make the road. And while making the road, it must be 39, 38, 40 degrees centigrade in the daytime, right? And no AC, no, cold water to drink, right? Okay, and then perhaps what the children must be doing. The parents are working on the road, and children there might be some babysitters.
No, playing on the road.
No babysitter. The children just so vulnerable, right? So delicate body, and they are playing on the. I don't know whether they are actually playing. They cry. They must be crying there because of excessive heat, right? Okay. So if you think like this, and then these cars, the lorries, they are made of metals. Metal come from the mines, right? And the miners over there. And the miners, what about their children? Same, right? And many of the miners, they must have died, right? Died. So if you think like this, we see that just one plate of food, it involves so many hands, without which we cannot possibly enjoy this, the food. And for example, all of us, coming here, Vajradadu. It's a beautiful place, right? Imagine, when this land was first bought, right? Say two of them, they came here, they want to drink something, where? No water, right? No food, no shelter. So this is how they struggled, right? And then finally all the dealings, and then to think of planning for this building, all the buildings, and then people to be connected with the contractors, right? And then the learning about these things is very interesting. For example, all these electric poles, right? Who erected these electric poles? Electrician came, people came from there. No, two of them did it themselves, right? Themselves. It's not that, they built it and then the people come there, right? They build. No. So they really worked so hard, right? So we see that any good thing, that any privilege that we had, behind that, so many hands involved, so many hands involved. Okay, tell me, all these millions of hands, do you know who they are? Are you angry with them? You're not angry, you don't know them. These are not neutral people. It's because of their involvement that we have benefited. We have benefited, right? Even the clothes that we wear, and then the food that we eat, and even the bedding on which we sleep. Everything is somehow connected with millions of hands. One. Okay, number two, let's say, the pen that you have. The pen that you have. Okay, did you check the mom giving me? Well, let's say you all have a pen, right? So just think of one thing. Okay, this pen, right? How costly is this pen?
50 rupees. 50 rupees.
Let's say 50 rupees. 50 rupees, right? Imagine, think it very seriously. Think it very seriously. 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, during the era of the kingdoms, even the kings and queens, they did not have the privilege to use this pen. You agree with me or not?
Yes.
They have to use the feather, right? With the feather, every time they have to dip it in the ink pot. Whereas this, we don't have to dip it in the ink pot, right? If the kings and queens those days, they have this, they will put this in the treasure store, right? Just imagine it. Just imagine it. And if you are to make it today, just for yourself, if this one pen which you're using now, if this is to be produced for you, just for you, to be customized for you, tell me, how expensive is this pen going to be?
Very expensive.
It's going to be like billions and billions, crores and crores of rupees. Imagine. Crores and crores of rupees. How? This pen involves the plastic. Plastic has to be taken from the petrol, right? All these big machines to extract petrol required. And then it also has the tip. Tip is the metal, right? People have to go to mine the metal, right? And then the machines should be there to design all these things, these big machines. Total will cost you minimum, one pen will cost you billions of dollars, right? Tell me, why this is so cheap for you? It's just 50 rupees.
Mass production.
It's because of the mass production. What do you mean by mass production? What do you mean by mass production? Meaning that there are thousands of people buying the same object. That makes it cheap, right? Do you know these people who are involved in mass production? You don't know them. It's because of them that you are having the privilege of using this pen, which even the kings and the queens, they did not have the privilege, right? And you may be wondering, oh, that's obvious, so what? Right? I paid it. Had it not been the case that these people are not there, we are totally oblivious. The benefit that, generally speaking, the benefit that we get, we don't think about the benefit. Right? We only think about something else. For example, what we said earlier, this planet, like 2/3 is water. Right? We do appreciate that. Then we go to Mars to see if there's a trace of water there. Oh, there's a trace of water there, everybody celebrate. What to celebrate? This is 2/3 of the planet that we have. We are in. This has the water. Just rejoice in it. Right? So this is the human tendency. The good things that we get, we don't appreciate it. So if you really think of like this, even the kings and queens, believe it or not, they did not have the opportunity the privilege to use this pen. Yet we can just use it and use and throw. Right? And if it is to be produced just for you, this after finishing this, it will go to the museum. Right? It's not use and throw. Why? Because it's so expensive. And yet, we have the privilege of using this. What makes us to have such a privilege? Because of the mass production, because of the technology. And how come that technology is developed to such extent now? It's a gradual process. It's not that, 21st century technology. No, it's all because of the 18th century, 19th century, slow development happened. Because of the contributions of all these people that today, that we are enjoying this pen. Right? If you think very seriously, we see that it's the kindness of these people, all these many scientists, over the years, over the many millennia, decades, that we're enjoying this. And the mass production. Right? Okay, do we know these people? All these millions of people know there. We don't know them. These are known as the neutral people. It is because of their kindness that we are able to use this. And then, say, Nita went to do what? You stood up? Put in the lights, right? Okay, put in lights. These lights, in those days, no lights. What do they have? Oil lamp, maybe in a golden container. Golden, film is safe. Film is not golden, right? Kings and queens, they might have golden containers to have the lamp, but it's the film is there. How much destroy the health, right? But now for us, we don't have to go through this film and these things. These lights are here. Same. Everything that we use this mic, right? And everything, this book. Imagine the book is very interesting. The books, in those days, before the printing press came into being, do you know how the books are printed? They have to write. How? I don't know how many of you are interested, how many of you know about it. Right? What people do is that people teach the prisoners how to write. People teach the prisoners how to, because prisoners are they in their hands. So they teach how to write. Right? In writing, the prisoners, which is better, writing or the labor work? Writing is better for them. That's fun, but that's easy for them. So they expect from the labor work. So somebody dictates and everybody's writing. So this is how the copies are produced. Right? Yet now, all these copies are so easily available. This copy, this book that you have, right, in Delhi, it is produced within 4 or 5 days. Whereas in those days, and that easily, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 easily can be produced without that much of labor. But in those days, 50 prisoners there, only 50 copies. And even in 50 copies, they are not symmetrical, right? Some are terrible handwritings, right? So this is a reality. This is reality, right? So we see that this is the amount of the benefit that we get. We take for granted, right? Okay. So let's say that how many of you travel by public transportation? We all, right? The public transportation like what? Bus, train. Okay, let's say the metro, train. In Pune, is the metro? Coming now. Okay, let's say train. So train, when you travel a train, they say oftentimes the train is very crowded.
Yeah.
You like it, you don't like it.
Don't like it.
You don't like it. You want the train to be just empty, just for yourself, right? Huh?
Yes.
No.
Just for yourself, you are very happy?
Yes.
Huh?
No.
How many of you have that experience? Sometimes it so happens that you are just by yourself in a one bogie. What's that experience like?
Scary.
Very, very scary. You're getting it? Extremely scary. Anybody can come and rope you and kill you. Finish. Very scary. Right? Very scary.
Even for the guys, Geshe.
Yes, of course. I'm a guy. She thinks that I'm a girl. Yeah, I'm a guy. I had that experience. It's not only me. There are 2 or 3 people with me, and suddenly we enter that we are in one bogie ourselves. So scary, and so scary to the extent that even the bogie, the wall, which are made of metals, even the metal seems so gross. With the fear, everything seems so gross. Anybody can gag you and kill you at that point. Alright? Okay. So this is just wondering whether Geshe has got a boy. Okay. Right? This is very scary experience. Very scary experience. So look. So when you are in crowd, are you scared? Do you have this fear?
Very large crowd, sometimes.
No. What I'm saying, this fear of anybody can come and gag me and kill me.
Depends on the
No. That fear, unless you have that fear, only if you have that fear that you're by yourself in the moving bus, moving train, right? Anybody can come. That fear, only if you have that experience, then you will appreciate the crowd. Then you will appreciate the crowd. As long as you don't have that experience, well, try it once. Try it once, right? Go to, say, look at the public buses. From there, what is empty, go in there, right? And then see what's the feeling like. You're getting it, don't go too far away.
When we were moving in the US, in a very sleepy town, you can say, nobody on the road, me and Shubhangi, and I was damn scared that anybody can come and sort of attack us or something, because we are used to the city of India,
Exactly.
where a lot of people are there.
Exactly. So that time is you a boy or girl? Okay. So then you have to learn all the stories. Spiritually was so much of fear, right? Even with somebody still hears so much fear. Okay. So these are the facts. Only when we have these experiences, then you will appreciate to be in the crowd. Right? You will appreciate the crowd. So, why when you're by yourself, you have so much of fear? Why? Why?
alone.
Why? When you're alone, why you have so much of fear? Anybody can come, right? And there's no bodyguard to save you, right? Why the VIPs, they are taking bodyguards with them? So that there's no threat to their life, right? And for you, you don't have the threat when you are in crowd. Who protected you? Crowd. Crowd are your bodyguards. They are you free. The VIPs, they carry the bodyguards, they have to pay. For you, literally you don't have to pay, right? And they are literally serving as the bodyguard. Do you agree with me or not?
Yes.
They are really serving as a bodyguard. Why don't you feel the fear? Because of these people. They give you the protection. They give the assurance that nothing will happen to you. Don't worry, take care of your back. Just take care of your back. Anybody can come back. Just take care of your back. Otherwise nobody will come to get you. Right? Yeah, that's true. Shyam, why are you laughing? Okay, so what I'm saying is that this is amazing. If we can really think seriously, right, you'll feel such a joy that, okay, I'm in a crowd, I feel safe, there's no fear in me, it's all because of these people around, right? And you can be very creative. You can be very creative. for example, say the VIP bodyguards, very complicated. You know why they are complicated? Wherever the VIP goes, they have to accompany you. And VIP, in the daytime, VIP has to eat food. They also, you have to feed them, make sure that they're eating. If they don't eat, they collapse. You have to make sure that they eat. But your bodyguards, you don't have to feed them. They will do on their own. That's amazing. And the VIP bodyguards, okay, right? The VIP bodyguards, right? Say the VIPs, they don't really have the privacy. They don't really have the privacy. Wherever they go, the bodyguards, they will come. Even in the toilets, they will come. Not really into the toilet, but right in the outside, it's so uncomfortable for you. I mean it, right? Very uncomfortable. Whereas in your case, when you go to the toilet, when you go to the house, right, they will go away, right? So when you want, they will come. That's amazing, amazing. Just think of that. Think of that. You said that this is amazing. Wow, right? And VIPs, they can take at the most 2, 3, 4, 5 bodyguards. And whereas you have so many bodyguards, right? Think in this direction. You see that there's full of joy to think of, so much of happiness to think of that, right? And these, literally, why the VIPs, they are paying all these people, the bodyguards, just to give protection to the life. And you're already protected. There's such a freedom with you. They don't have the freedom, right? And they have to worry about whether or not the bodyguards, they have food. You don't have to worry. And you don't have to pay, right? It's amazing. So this, if you think like this, we see that this all because, and do you know these people? No, these are known as the neutral people. It's their kindness that you have benefited so much. You survived without fear. You live in fearlessness, right? Okay. So likewise, for example, say when you go to, for example, like what Suraj just said, then you go to, say, the strangest place. You're going there for the first time, and you don't know which is a good hotel, or you don't know which is a good restaurant, right? And if there are 2 restaurants, one which is very crowded restaurant, one which is very clean, nobody going there, very cozy, very clean, right? And nobody going there, is vacuum, is spacious, all tables are empty, just empty. One crowded there, not so clean, right? Very crowded. So, if you're a stranger there, which of the 2 restaurants you go? Crowded one or the clean one? Clean, nobody there. You can occupy any of the seat yourself. Which will you go? Crowded one. Why? One, these local people, they are telling you that this is a safe place. Right? Something's wrong there. You're getting it? So these local people, they are assuring you that you get the healthy food. And because there, nobody is going there, right? The food, they must have prepared some food yesterday. And nobody ate it. So today they saved it. It is gone stale. So because there's so much crowd here, the food's finished. People have to say, no, now the restaurant closed. No food left. So tomorrow you get a fresh food. You're getting it? So from this we see that, so wow, I get such information. A lot of information that I feel so safe because of the crowd there. So this crowd, do you know this crowd? You don't know them. These are known as the neutral people, right? Okay, and then, for example, say some came from Mumbai to Pune, some came from the Pune to Delhi, some came from Delhi to here. So we fly, we go by train and so forth, right? So how come that we're very easily able to move? Because there's a big administration known as the government, right? Government, which makes sure that the transportation is happening, everything's happening properly, right? And then the safety is there. And this government, who's this government? Government formed by the public. Without this public, all the public of this country, all the public of this country, this government cannot be formed, right? Government, not this government or that government, but the government cannot be formed. That's because of this public. Because of this public, government, so because of the government, then there is the transport. For example, the railways undertaken by state government or the central government. Central government. You're getting it? We reap the benefit of all these things. And then airport. Airport is run by the central government or state government or the private companies. Airport. There's the airport authority of India. This is central. You're getting it? So we see that this is how. And then say the UNO. What is UNO? Because of the many nations. What are these nations? People in these nations. Whole world is connected. Whole world is connected. Because of UNO, even though UNO may not be as active as what it should be, still because of the UNO, that many countries they do not dare to do what they like. They dare to do nasty things the way they like.
Except in the case of Tibet.
No, what I'm saying, had it not been the presence of UNO, the Tibet situation must have been worse today. Simply because of the UNO presence there, the Chinese, they cannot do as nasty as the otherwise, right? So we have to think very positively. We have to think very positively. Nasty things still happen, but the scale would have been much worse had it been the case that UN is not there. And other nations are not there. Other nations, right, they know that, oh, the nations are looking at us. Other nations are looking at us. So if the nation, nobody's looking at them, they can easily exterminate. Easily exterminate. Right? Just like this. Right? Everywhere you just see the Han Chinese. No single Tibetan. Everyone gone. Easily. About 6 million versus 1.5 billion. Just imagine. Easily. And 6 million, what they have? Nothing. Right? Just a small knife. And they have one person with what? 1 million? Billion, what's the number? What's the multiplication? 1,000.
1,000.
Right?
Yeah.
So one Tibetan is like, they say two Tibetan is like 1,000 Chinese. Right? And the sophistication of the weapons that they have. Tibetans have just the local knife, kitchen knife. And they have a very sophisticated machine guns, bombs, everything. They can easily erase Tibetans. But why they couldn't do it today is because of UNO there. Right? Although UNO is not that effective, still that they know that someone's looking at us. Right? They have to protect their face. So what I'm saying is that how the UNO is operating is because of the multi-nations. How the many nations are there, because of the people there. In other words, all the benefit that we're getting is connected with every being on this earth. Right? And do we know these people? We don't know. These are the neutral people. If you really think in that form, for example, in those days, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, wars were happening the way it's happening now. Wars were happening. But was there a Red Cross? Going where the war's happening? Was there a Red Cross? No, people died, they died, finished. But here, nowadays, Red Cross is there. Wherever, even if a very, say, one nation's fault, and that nation's suffering because of its one's own fault, still the Red Cross is there to make sure that the civils are protected. It's amazing, right? And why that Red Cross has so much of power, so much of this, the daring, that kind of movement, energy there, because it's supported by so many other the institutions or the groups. People are there, public are there, behind the Red Cross. Amnesty, right? If there's nobody who supports amnesty, what can amnesty do? Right? So then we see that this is how everything is connected. Everyone is so kind to our benefit, for our benefit, right? So if we seriously think, the more we think about this, it's just a human nature. It's the nature of our mind. The more we think about this, naturally our mind will feel that, yes, what if I'm born 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, right? Then we'll have the opportunity to use this pen. We'll have the opportunity to have this fan. Fan? No. Even the kings, they do not have the fan. They have the human fan, right? Yeah. Human fan. Which is more effective, human fan or this fan? This fan. 100 times this one is more effective. Right? So we see that every benefit is because of the dependence on others. And do we know these people? We don't know them. They're so kind. Had it been the case, I'm born in those days, right? That I would suffer terribly, which I can possibly bear, right? Okay, so this is how we remember the kindness of the others. This is something which in the conventional world we never think about. So therefore it becomes a special recollection. Right? Wow. What's next? Okay, I have to make sure that Shaman is looking at me or not. Okay, so what you do now is almost 6. Huh?
Dinner is at 6:45.
Wow, very, very kind. Okay, we'll finish this part. Now what's next? The difficult people, how to recollect the kindness of difficult people, right? Okay, tell me. So, because the difficult people, the kind of difficult, or whatever, forget it for the time being. Tell me, what is your goal? Finally, what is your goal? I want infinite happiness. You getting it? I want infinite happiness. If you say that, I simply want to get rid of my fears of life. I simply want to get rid of all the fears, infinite happiness, okay. If I get it, good. If I don't get it, it's fine. But I want the state of fearlessness, no miseries at all. Then your job is to go to Himalaya, do personal practice just on wisdom of emptiness, pushed by renunciation. No need of bodhichitta, no need of thinking of the kindness of others, like this, no need. Just go directly. Whereas if you want infinite happiness, if that's a goal, right? If that's a goal, you should reach a stage whereby your mind not only is affected by external factors, but your mind flows freely to all beings. Unless that happens, you will not have the infinite happiness. Your mind flows to every being at all times, in time and in space. That is required. If that is not happening, you can never have the infinite happiness. Okay. Now for that matter, who obstructs you from letting your mind flow freely to all beings in space and in time? Who stops you there? Okay. This is amazing. In just a few days, it's amazing. So, if I tell this to the people who are not introduced to the Bodhichitta retreat in Vajradhatu Center, right? Somebody who has no exposure to such thing, then if I say that to let you why your mind is not flowing freely to all beings in the space, infinite space, and in time, why that's not happening? Because somebody is there who is not letting mind flow. Who's that? Enemies. You're getting it? Okay. So now, okay, how many of you know Muhammad Ali? Muhammad Ali, how many of you know that? Okay. So who's Muhammad Ali? Don't say boxer. There are so many boxers.
The legendary.
Legendary boxer. Right, legendary boxer. Okay. Okay, imagine if you are a boxer, you want to become, say, the level of Muhammad Ali standard, or you want to remain a very ordinary boxer. If there is a choice, of course, Muhammad Ali's level. Are you getting it? How can you become somebody of his stature? Imagine your coach. If Muhammad Ali's coach is his mother, if Muhammad Ali's mother is Muhammad Ali's coach, boxing coach, do you think that he'll become a legendary boxer? No. Why not? She's too kind, right? Too kind. She will not give you the punch, right? Unless you get the punch, hard punch, you will never learn how to stop the hard punch, right? Mother will give you like this. Right? With this, you will never learn how to stop the hard punch. If you don't learn how to stop the hard punches, you will never become the legendary boxer. So your mother cannot make you a legendary boxer. Who can make you a legendary boxer? Somebody who gives you a hard punch. That can make you a legendary boxer.
What is a half punch?
Hard punch. Okay. Oh, Shamji, you don't know what is hard punch. Indrajit, he wants to know what is hard punch. Okay, Rose, you guys demonstrate. Yes.
In the break.
Okay. So the point is that, look, this is extremely important, right? Okay. Say difficulties. Somebody gives you a hard time. Somebody who gives you a hard time gives you a difficult time. Difficulty, if you see it as a difficulty, you will never learn how to cross that. If you see it as a difficulty, you will never learn how to cross that and how to bypass this. You will never learn that. Only if you challenge it, see it as an opportunity for you to grow. Only then these difficulties will one day become non-difficulties. Unless you learn how to cross that, how to overcome that, right? You are bound to face with these difficulties endlessly. Right? If you have a difficult person today, one difficult person today in your life, right? Okay, how I wish that this person goes away, right? Whether moves to America, to Nigeria, to Japan, wherever, or in worst cases, you know. Okay, that the person should not be in my side. But if you don't learn how to tackle with such a person, right? Can you guarantee that in this life, the remaining part of your life, and in the future lifetimes, you will never again meet with such a complicated person? Can you guarantee that? You cannot guarantee that. Anytime very complicated people can come in your life. Anytime, right? If you don't learn how to overcome that, just learn how to overcome one and you overcome 100. Just overcome one and you overcome infinite, not only 100. Infinite number of such people come, you know how to tackle these. If you don't learn how to overcome this situation, right, we are bound to face with infinite challenges. Okay, so what's the thing to do? To learn how to overcome this. For to overcome this, you must meet this situation, right? Who gives you the opportunity to meet with the situation? That difficult person. That difficult person gives you the opportunity for you to practice it, how to tackle this. You're getting it? This is so important. In other words, do you agree with me, right? That to achieve Buddhahood, your compassion must be infinite. You agree with me or not? That your compassion must be, in order for your compassion to be infinite, right? Your compassion should not be biased. Yes, no. Right? Okay. And that is your compassion biased at the moment or not?
Yes.
That is bias. Okay, I tell you. Now, from today onwards, don't make your compassion biased. Make your compassion unbiased from this evening onward. Tomorrow, now your compassion unbiased? No, it's very difficult. It's so difficult. So how can you get rid of this difficulty to make this biased compassion, the compassion towards unbiased? Only through exercise. How to exercise? Exercise with compassionate people or with difficult people? Only with difficult people you can practice it. Only with difficult people you can practice it. You getting it? So therefore, what gives you infinite happiness is the infinite compassion. What gives you infinite compassion is the one who gives you the subtlest of the compassion. Who allows you to have the subtlest of the compassion? Enemies. Without enemies, you will never learn the subtlest of the compassion. Without the subtlest compassion, you will never achieve Buddhahood. Without Buddhahood, Buddhahood is the greatest of the gift. In this world, if somebody is to gift you something, what gift do you want? The greatest of the gift or the 50% gift? Greatest of the gift. And who can potentially give this is only by your enemies. Not by your mother, not by your father, not by somebody who's loving. Right? Okay, so therefore, who is more compassionate? Who gives you food for one day, or who gives you the skill to get food for a whole life? Who's more the who you feel more grateful to? Which of the two persons? One who gives you skill, right? And who do you feel as you feel more the sense of gratitude? The one who gives you 10% happiness, or one who gives you 90% happiness? Naturally 90%, right? And what is that 100% happiness, Buddhahood? Who gives you that Buddhahood? Only the enemies. Only the enemies, right? Without the practice of Bodhichitta, Buddhahood is impossible. And Bodhichitta is possible only if your love and affection spreads to all the beings. And your love and affection is so easy to go towards your mother, near and dear ones, and to neutral beings. But it's very difficult to get to the enemies. So for that you have to practice it. For to practice you need that person. So therefore that person helps you to actually give you Buddhahood. The one who has the capacity to give you the greatest of the gift is your enemies. So that is the one from whom you get the maximum benefit. So we should be feeling most grateful to the enemies. So when you feel that this is the enemies, I should be feeling most grateful for him or her, because it is him or her that I get the maximum benefit. So what happens? Your mind, what happens? Your mind flows so dramatically towards the enemies. That is known as the feeling of love and affection. This feeling of love and affection never happened before. Even towards your mother and father, it did not happen. Because mother and father, it is because the happiness that you get is a temporary happiness. Right? Food, clothing, and these things, not Buddhahood. Right? So, depending on what kind of degree of happiness, the benefit that you get, according to your mind flows. So because of the benefit that you get from your parents is a very mundane happiness, your mind flows accordingly. And the benefit that you get from the enemies, this is Buddhahood, so your mind flows vigorously. The feeling of love and affection is so intense, which you have never experienced before. Only with such a feeling of love and affection, you can possibly think of becoming a Buddha. So this Buddhahood is given to you by the enemy. So now you see that near and dear ones, you feel close. The neutral beings, you feel the benefit already. And the enemies, they are the ones who do the greatest of the benefactors. They give you the Buddhahood, the greatest of the benefit. So now they are also very close to you. They are the closest to you now. And then the neutral beings are second close. And what we call as near and dear ones, they are the third close now. Right? In all three are very close to you now. Right? So now for you there's no enemies. Everyone is so close to you. Your mind flows towards them, so close towards everyone. This is known as infinite compassion, unconditional love, which does not know any condition. This is known as unconditional love. Okay, so this kind of recollection, like the benefits, kindness of others, is something which the conventional people, they don't do. Because they don't do such reflection, this teaching is not something that people can easily imbibe, people can easily digest. So therefore, the Bodhisattva Shantideva said that this teaching is to be maintained confidential. Sometimes it's also referred to as the secret teaching instruction, secret or the confidential instruction. Because if you say this to other people may think that you're going crazy. Right? You're thinking about loving your enemies. They are the ones who harm you. How come that you love them? You're crazy. Right? This is what ordinary people cannot digest. So this is a very precious teaching, a precious instruction. Okay. So this is step number what? 7. What is next? Okay. So now, between 7 and 8, there is an implicit step. Implicit step. So what we do, for example, say, when you love your mother so much, right? When you love your mother so much, And then when you see that your mother is still sick, what is your reaction? Worry. Right? What's that kind of worry? May you be freed from the suffering. You're getting it? This is what? Loving kindness? Compassion. Very good, this compassion. So automatically compassion arises. This love and affection will manifest in the form of compassion. When you see that the one you love goes through difficult times. Okay. Whereas, okay, why this compassion automatically arises when you see how does compassion arises? Anyone? When you see what?
You put yourself in that person's shoes.
Okay. So what about, just generally speaking, ordinary people, right? Say when they see the enemy sick, do they feel compassionate? No. Right? Instead they may feel joyous. Right? They may feel joyous. So for compassion to arise, there are two things required. One, the feeling of closeness, feeling of love and affection should be there, one, and the object of the compassion must be going through difficult times, suffering. When these two things come together, automatically your feeling of love and affection will manifest in the form of compassion. Then you love the person, and the person is going through suffering. When these two things, when you see that a person goes through suffering, and you love the person, these two things happening, so subjectively, you love the person. Meaning that you, as your mind, has the loving attitude towards the person, and that person, the state of the person is, the plight of the person is miserable, suffering. When you see that, these two things happen within you, right? You love that person, one. Then number two, you see the plight of the person is in a miserable state. Then your love and affection manifests into compassion, right? So this compassion, this is implicit. This compassion is implicit. When you see that all beings, you love all beings now through the special recollection, all the step 1 through to step 7, you love all the beings so intensely. You love all of them. When you look at the plight of all the beings, we see that they are suffering terribly because of self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. Even if somebody is in 5-star hotel, even if somebody is in palace, even if somebody is the president, prime minister, whatever, right? Somebody is the son, daughter of the richest person. Still they have the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. This for sure. As long as these two are there, the person is never going to be happy. Right? So the people who you love so much, they're all suffering terribly because of the two demons. Self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. So with respect to you, you feel compassionate rather than you feel envious. Right? Somebody who's so rich, somebody who is so, say at the peak of the youth, and then become a celebrity, you feel compassion. Right? You feel compassion. Because inside that, self-grasping, self-centered attitude, these two are there. Right? The youth is just a temporary, few years, 2-3 years, 4-5 years maximum, and it will disappear, it will fall down. And the political power, just a matter of few years, again will fall down. And the wealth, right? So much of fights happening, because of the wealth, right? You must be knowing that. The court cases, is anyone from the law? LLB, LLM? Right? Court cases, most of the court cases are, litigation cases are domestic. Property. Right? Property. In fact, I met somebody a few years ago. Somebody at the airport, Delhi airport, and that person came to me, very, very cordial, very, friendly, came to me and started talking to me and talked about his holiness the Dalai Lama. And that person introduced himself as the owner of a very, 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 very big hotel. Right? And then I said, oh, why did you come here? He said, I came here for litigation case, court case. I said, why? And he said, literally, I have 700 court cases. He said, he's the owner of a big, big, big hotel, one of the first hotels. I'll not tell you what. Again, you Google search what that is. Right? So, And then he said, literally, I have 700 court cases. More the wealth, more the court cases, guaranteed. Right? Then I said, why all these court cases? He said that I only come for the most severe, serious court cases. Others I send in my lawyer. Right? He said it. And I said, why all these court cases? He said, property fights. Right? And then he said that one time he even showed the scar on his head, bullet. Right? He said that his uncle sent some gundas, like 5 gundas to kill him, his uncle. Because there was a property fight between the 2 brothers, his uncle and his father, and sent somebody to kill him. And luckily it just went past the, just the surface of the skull, and then he was saved. He ended in the hospital, he was saved. All these fights are happening, right? Just name one, the mundane success, just name one, which does not end up in miseries, terrible miseries. Just name one, nothing is there, right? So this is how the people who you love, the near and dear ones, neutral beings, enemies, everyone is suffering because of self-grasping intolerance and self-centered attitude. Do you feel that? Automatically this love and affection will manifest in the form of compassion, plus awe. With this compassion, then what next? What's the next step?
Altruism.
Okay, so don't start with Gadde Bodhiswaha. Right? Okay, they should all these steps. Altruism, step number 8, altruism, right? So then, okay, may you all be freed from the suffering and the cause of suffering, right? May you all be freed from the cause of the suffering and the cause of suffering, particularly self-grasping, self-centered attitude. May you be freed from all this suffering. What is the next question? What's the next question? Who will do it? Oh, not me, right? Okay, may you be free from suffering, but who will do it? Okay, I'm a little busy. No, I will do it. I will do it. Right? May you be free from suffering, the cause of suffering. Who will do it? I will do it. That's altruism. Taking the responsibilities. May all be free from suffering. That even the Shravakas and Pradigvas, they can also feel. But I will do it. That's not coming to them. I will do it. That is the Bodhisattva's practice. I will do it. That is altruism. Okay, now Shyamala is looking at me more seriously. Alright, I have to wind it up. Okay. Okay, I will do it. What's the next question?
How I do it?
How am I going to do it? This question. You're getting it? Okay, how am I going to do this? Okay. When I was in Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, the first monastery where I joined after my class 12. So there was one monk who was junior to me, 2-3 years junior to me. And he has a brother. The brother is not a monk. The younger one is a monk. And the elder brother, he just loves, the younger one is not so competent. Not so competent. So the elder one is very competent, and the elder one is always worried about his younger brother. The elder one, once in a while, every Sunday, he should come up to make sure that his younger brother is okay, how he stays, food, everything okay. One day, the elder one came. It so happened that the younger one was not there in his room. And the elder one bumped into the room, and he saw that the room was so messy. And the elder one became so angry, right? And the younger one, monk, he has all these daily practices, prayers, and what of the prayers? May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, right? Then the elder one said that, what he's praying, that may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient. Forget about all sentient beings. He cannot even take care of himself. Look at this. His room, so messy, right? Okay, so now the question is, how are you going to do this? You said that, I will do it, right? May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering, right? Who's going to do it? I will do it. How are you going to do it? You cannot even take care of yourself. How are you going to do it? This question, right? Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question. How are you going to do it? This is the next question. Yes, I cannot even take care of myself, right? Okay, how to do it? So, then the person started to explore, right? Started to look at the history of humanity. Reading the history of humanity, he or she comes across one personality under the Bodhi tree. Under the Bodhi tree, somebody, yes, under the Bodhi tree, Prince Siddhartha, he became Buddha. What do you mean by become Buddha? So his biography, if you look at this Prince Siddhartha, his biography, how I followed, right? Equalizing myself and others, then reflecting the merits of cherishing myself, reflecting on the merits of cherishing others, then the taking the stuff from others with emphasis on the compassion, then giving happiness with the loving kindness, actual exchange of self with others, and then what? Special recollection of kindness to others, and altruism. Okay, I reached that level already. Right? And he also went through the same process. Right? And then what did he do? If you read the Bible, what did he do under the Bodhi tree? He became enlightened. What do you mean become enlightened? Right? Become enlightened. Okay.
Not a light.
Become enlightened means that somebody has achieved, finally, become enlightened. The purpose must be that to benefit all beings. So in one way, what do you mean by this Prince Siddhartha became enlightened? It's in ways of achieving three perfect qualities. In ways of achieving three perfect qualities. Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Right? So this Prince Siddhartha, he achieved the three perfect qualities. Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. Okay, so what's the air? If one achieves these three perfect qualities, so what? So what? So what? This question, right? Okay, so then reflect on this point. So tell me, thus far, what level of realization you have reached? That I take the responsibility. I will take the responsibility that all beings are liberated from suffering and the cause of suffering. This is what you have reached. And the next question, you could not give the answer. What is the next question? How can I do it? Right? I don't have the answer yet. Okay. So then looking at the biography, is there anybody who is able to do that? Right? Not only taking the responsibility, but actually able to do that. In the history of humanity, you browse through the history, you see that there's somebody by the name Prince Siddhartha. Under the Bodhi tree, he achieved something. What is that something? Three qualities. Perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. In what way these three qualities benefit? Okay, now tell me, if you are to benefit, that up to this point, so if you are to benefit sentient beings, how are you going to benefit the sentient beings? How? What's the wisest thing to do?
Giving them knowledge.
To?
Giving them a knowledge.
Knowledge of what?
Knowledge
To knowledge of how to build a house?
Dharma.
Knowledge to happen. Why?
To get liberated.
Okay, make it very precise.
As an antidote for self-grasping ignorance.
Very good. To give them the dharma so that the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude, the two demons inside are eradicated. Right? Dharma, to teach dharma, so that these two demons are eradicated, that they don't have to go through suffering anymore, and that instead they will experience infinite happiness. The two demons must be exterminated. Two demons, how can you exterminate that? Through just going into their heart, remove the two demons like this? No. We are always reading the mornings. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of the being. The Buddha cannot watch you. Buddha cannot plug your two demons like the way you plug the thorns, right? And then the Buddha cannot transfer his wisdom and Bodhichitta in us, right? So how does the Buddha help them? By keep teaching, by teaching. You're getting it? Teaching. Okay. Teaching. So this answer that we got. It is because of this that all the Buddha's deeds, the deed of teaching is the supreme. The deed of the speech is the supreme. The deed, activities, Buddha's activities, the verbal activities, physical activities, like perform miracles, then the mental activities. Of all the three activities, the activity and the deeds of the speech that is given teachings, that is the supreme. This is what actually benefits the sentient beings. Right? For example, let's say, okay, say we are here, Bodhichitta Center, and how busy is this traffic? Not busy. Not at all busy, right? Say, believe it or not, today, right? Speech, physical, and the mental, people cannot see. Physical, if I levitate 2 feet now, in the air, I sit like this, guaranteed tomorrow there's going to be traffic jam. Right? It will come on the BBC, it will come on CNN. Right? And then what? Indian radio with the television, All India what? All India radio, and then the Ashtak, then Doordarshan, then ZTV, busy there, right? Everybody watching it, right? And tell me, what do you benefit? If I levitate 2 feet high, and what do you take away? Go to Mumbai, go to Delhi, go to Pune, wow is left. You take wow with you. In what way wow will help you? It will not help you in any ways. You getting it? So this is the physical deed. But the Buddha's speech, for all this Buddha performed this levitation, all this Buddha performed. Today, we don't remember the Buddha for performing these miracles. Only his teachings are remembered. Only his teachings continue to benefit us. So therefore, the deed of his teaching is the supreme. The deed of his speech is the supreme. You getting it? Okay, this is how the wise people remember the Buddha. Arya Nagarjuna, in all his praises to the Buddha, he never praised the Buddha for performing miracles. He only praised the Buddha. The first stanza we read every morning. What was that stanza? Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma. Enthused by great compassion. Great compassion is inside, and what you actually benefit the beings is by giving teaching the Dharma, Immaculate Dharma. To dispel the perverted views. What is that perverted view? Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. This is all there, very clear. You getting it? So of all the deeds, the deed of the speech is the supreme. The deed of the teaching is the supreme. So now this being the case, right? The teaching. Okay, for the teaching, let's say that we are all like age 10, 11, 12, right? 10, age 10, 11, 12. And your father tells you that, hey, study well, right? Okay. Study well. And then if you study well, I'm always there to support you. Or to study well, I'm always there to support you. Surya, study well, I'm always there to support you. Right? Say your father give you the assurance that he's always there to support you. And then one day, your science exam is approaching, in a way. And suddenly you realize that you don't know the science, you need help. You go to your father. Dad, please teach me science. You promised to help me. And he says, I'm very sorry, in my school I always failed in science. Right? I always failed in science. How can the dad do? Is it that the dad doesn't want to help you? Hey.
Yes, he wants to.
He wants to help you, but he cannot help you because he's lacking knowledge. So somebody to really teach you, the person must have the perfect knowledge, one. Right? And the father said, oh, don't worry, my daughter, my son, don't worry, right? Our next door neighbor is a professor in physics. Professor in physics, right? You go and seek his help. And you go there, knock on the door, and the professor comes out, right? The professor comes out with a very thick glasses on. Hey, girl, hey boy, what do you want? Right? Oh, my science exam is, please teach me science. 5,000 rupees per hour. 5,000 rupees per hour. Can you pay 5,000 rupees per hour? Can you pay? No, it's going to cost you lakhs of rupees just for 1 week coaching, right? So even this professor cannot teach you, cannot help you. Why he cannot help you? He lacks knowledge? No, he has knowledge. What is missing?
Love.
Love is missing. So therefore somebody who is to give you to be the best of the teacher, the person should be not only perfect in knowledge, also should be perfect in love, number 2. Then you very sad, you come to your father and you tell what the professor said, and the father feels so apologetic, so sad for you. But don't worry, your mother, although your mother is not a professor in science, but she was the topper in science when she was in school. She was the topper. Does it happen?
Yes.
Right? Yes, of course. People are topper in science, and then finally, they don't really go into the stream, they got married, like this, many things happen. I know many of these such cases, right? Even some of them are gold medalists, right? Okay, so what I'm saying is that the father said, oh, don't worry, right? You are just in class 4, don't worry. Your mother, although she's not a professor in physics, but she is a topper, gold medalist in the school, in science, right? So your mother will come this evening at 5 o'clock after her duty at the school. And then you go there, and the mother, please, my daughter, don't come close to me, son, don't come close to me, I have a stomach problem. She must have attended some conference and ate some stale food, right? She has a stomach problem. So what's the problem? Even she cannot help you. What's the problem?
Power.
She has knowledge. She has love. What's lacking? The power is lacking. You getting it? So therefore, somebody to be of most efficient in helping you in giving teachings, for that person should have these 3 qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power. So therefore, okay, now I know. You're getting it? Where did we reach at that point? Altruism. I will take the responsibility to benefit all beings. And the question is, how am I going to take the responsibility? Then you say, I will follow the footsteps of this Prince Siddhartha. I will also perfect in love, knowledge, and power. Right? So for that matter, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. That is Bodhichitta. Bodhichitta is defined as the altruistic intention to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Right? Okay. So after following all these steps, when you reach to this number 9, step 9, then wholeheartedly you have to say this. You have to say this. Verbally say this, mentally feel it very strongly. Although it may be superficial initially, it doesn't matter. We have to start from superficiality, right? For example, how many of you know how to play keyboard? Music, keyboard, there, too. Okay, so now tell me, say, so. Okay, how many of you play good? Okay. Say, if you can play good, say the first time when you touch it, does the music comes out or not? The music doesn't come out. So, but then the teacher or whoever teaches you, press this, you are imitating. You're imitating the proper music. You're imitating, that is superficial or that is natural? That is superficial. You start from the superficiality and eventually it becomes natural. Likewise, we start from the superficiality, although it may be superficial, it doesn't matter. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all. The moment you say this, if you really dislike somebody else, how can I become Buddha? I don't want to become Buddha for you. If this is your attitude, do you think that you will say this word? May I become Buddha for you? You will not say this. The fact that you say this means something is going in your mind. So that mind unentangles a knot of self-centered attitude. So the more you unentangle that slowly, right, it becomes very flexible and then it becomes very natural. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Right? This is Bodhichitta. Okay. So the moment this Bodhichitta, it becomes very natural, right? Very natural, where you don't put any effort and naturally it's coming in you very intensely. At that point, you become a bodhisattva. You become a bodhisattva. So yes, some of you may be wondering, what is bodhisattva? You know, always talking about Buddhas and bodhisattvas, Buddhas and Buddhas. Buddhas are those who already reached the highest level of perfection. Bodhisattvas are those who already crossed the threshold of the ordinary being. By what? By generating this bodhicitta. They generate the bodhicitta and they are struggling to achieve the bodhi. Right? They are putting effort to achieve the bodhi in the process. So somebody who already generated bodhicitta, if somebody is to tell you, well, how do you distinguish between Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Buddhas are those beings who already perfected the qualities by eradicating self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, by eradicating afflictive obscurations and cognitive obscurations. Their mind is, all the stains are gone. That is Buddha. What is Bodhisattva? Bodhisattva is somebody, the minimum,
Qualification.
A qualification is that they should have generated a spontaneous bodhicitta. They should have generated spontaneous bodhicitta, and then who are in the process, having generated bodhicitta, who are in the process of achieving that perfection, that Buddhahood. So till that point, right? So till that point, how many steps are there? 4 steps are there. Gate, Paragate, Parasangate. These 4 are the bodhisattvas. Then when you do Bodhiswaha, that's the Buddhahood. That these five pertain to the Mahayana path, right? These 5, we can speak of the Mahayana path, Shavaka path, Pratika Buddha path. The 5 are there with all 3. All 3, we are talking about the Mahayana path. When you are in the Gate, Paragate, Parasangate, the first 4, you are in which state? Bodhisattva path or the Buddha? Bodhisattva path. So when you reach the Bodhiswaha of the Mahayana, then you become a Buddha and you are not a Bodhisattva. You have already accomplished. Bodhisattva means, Bodhi means Buddhahood. Sattva is the heroic one, hero, or the courageous one. The one who is courageous, the courageous one, putting effort to achieve that goal which is very difficult to achieve. That is known as Bodhisattva. When you reach that, you become a Buddha. Right? Okay.
You say Bodhiswaha.
No. Bodhiswaha and Bodhisattva, these were different.
Yeah, I mean in the mantra.
The mantra is the Bodhiswaha, not the Bodhisattva.
Bodhiswaha.
This is Bodhiswaha, which means your enlightenment is established. So Swaha is established, Sattva is the courageous one. These two are different.
You must be really exhausted, so we won't bother you more. But I'm just flagging one issue for subsequent discussion is, you said Buddhism talks about discretion and skillfulness.
Yes.
So you will tell us where to look for that skillfulness and discretion.
Okay, where can we look for that? This is a good question. Okay, so now the one part of the 2 methods, one is done, right? Now the second part is left. We have 2 more days. Okay, tomorrow maybe we have to rush through the first method. Then for sure all these questions, like the Narimanji, you have many questions about the the skillfulness and so forth. Discretion. Okay. The Vipinji, you have a question? Yeah. Yes.
So when we are discussing about the power,
Yes.
like how you gave the example of the mother that she was not able to teach because she had this stomach ache. So is the power and the ability to execute that power of knowledge and compassion, does that go hand in hand? Ability to do something, and if you have a power but you're somehow unable to, spread the knowledge. So if that's the case, then how do we get that ability to,
Okay, that ability is a part of the power.
Yeah.
Ability itself is a part of the power. Ability means he or she has the ability. he or she has the ability to make you a professor. He or she has the power to make you a professor, right? These two in a way mean the same. But let's say that one child is trapped in a tsunami, right? And tsunami, or say in a river, right? Being carried, washed by the river, and you know you have the power to swim, but you are in the river is in the say where in Pune, and you are in the say Canada, right? Although you have the power to swim, but you don't have the ability to come here right away. Ability, right? In that sense, even that is also you are lacking that one power to be accessible right there.
Which means there has to be a conducive situation or space or time to execute that.
So
even if you have power.
same when you become a Buddha. So all these limitations should not be there. All these limitations are the sign of lack of power in some ways. You getting it? So when you become Buddha, believe it or not, what is that same for you, same to benefit others. For us, if you are in Pune, you want to benefit somebody in Mumbai, you have to travel. Or at best you have to send a text message. That also takes time, few seconds, or few, say, fraction of a seconds it takes to reach there. For the Buddha, it is instant. Right? Time and space cannot be the obstacle, right? Obstruct you from achieving the instant activities. Okay, so this is a benefit. Okay, yes, Rahul?
There's in the steps there is a loop. If I want to become a Buddha, I need to do the practice of Bodhichitta to benefit others.
Yeah.
And to benefit others, I need to become a Buddha. So it's like a loop.
Okay.
So does this loop go up like that, like in your Bodhisattva?
Okay, this is a good question. Okay, did you follow the question?
No.
Did you not follow the question? Okay, somebody can paraphrase this question, or Rahul, you want to put the question once more?
There is a loop.
There's
to be a Buddha,
to be Buddha, you should have to benefit others.
And
to benefit
others,
others,
I need to become a Buddha.
Okay, so the two sides are there: become Buddha and benefit others. To achieve Buddhahood, you should benefit others. To benefit others, you should achieve Buddha.
Yeah.
So this is what I like to do.
To benefit others, I need not become a Buddha. I can
Start from wherever I am.
work towards benefiting others, and that itself will take me to Buddhahood. So I don't have to wait to become a Buddha to benefit others. Rahulji is benefiting others by having us in this facility.
Wow, very practical answers given,
He
right?
does not
Rahulji,
need to become
most
a Buddha to
likelihood,
help us.
most likelihood he's not a Buddha. If he's a Buddha, he's not will come to listen to the teaching, right? If he is a Buddha, still wants to come to the, still comes to teaching means to check me, right? Otherwise, he will not come, right? Okay, so say, even if you are not a Buddha, still you can benefit the beings. For example, two of you, right? By setting up this center, how many people are benefited and how many of them are bound to be benefited? So many are going to be benefited. So it is not that, okay, the point is to be very direct. It is not that for one to become Buddha, you should be perfect in benefiting others. You can benefit others before becoming Buddha. Not only you can, you have to benefit
And you
others.
are doing it.
And you are doing it, right? It doesn't mean that you are benefiting in a perfect way, right? So achieving Buddhahood and benefiting in a perfect way, these two are synonymous.
So, like I asked, the loop is going higher and higher, sort of the level of...
It's a spiral basically, it's a spiral.
No, I think there are different levels of benefiting.
Okay, so I won't say this, I don't see this as a loop. If you say loop, we see it in a,
Circular.
like the circular thing, circular debate, right? So we would say that these two are mutually, mutually dependent.
Okay.
Say, if you become Buddha, you can benefit the beings more. If you benefit more, you'll achieve Buddha faster, right? So these two go together. For example, your your degree, and you become a professor the achieving professorship, these two, your degree is higher, chance of becoming professor is higher. Chance of becoming higher, the degree and influence will become higher, right? So these two mutually benefit. Okay. Smiling at me, okay.
We are worried that, you know, you have really strained yourself. I don't know, but you should not.
Narimanji.
But why are you telling me that? I have every option to say what I want.
Yes, yes, okay. So this is, again, this is a tautology. This is a circular, right? Okay, I'm not going to elaborate. Okay, I'm trying to circular. Yatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata. Okay, we'll do a quick dedication prayer. Dedication. The three stanzas. The morning three stanzas. Page 52. Page 52, the new book. The page 52. Old one, I'm not too sure. Page 49 or something.
49.
Huh?
Page 49.
49, the old one, the new one, 52. Okay, the three stanzas. Wholeheartedly let us dedicate the merits thus gathered. The way we are reading. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of deeds and the prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding the doctrine of spiritual insight. May all life through the force of this merit never separate from the four ways of the Mahana vehicle and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect being the two stages. From our two collections, vast is space that is amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom are planted by ignorance.
Thank you.
Welcome.